Hi there, this is my keyword outline right here that I'm going to be using to give my presentation today. So, whenever I was younger, I always would hear both of my parents who went to A&M talk about their Aggie ring, and I remember asking them as a little girl, why do y'all both have gold rings on your hand that look the same? And they kind of explained to me how it was because they went to the same college. And then the older I got, I watched both of my brothers receive their Aggie rings. And as I watched that, I kind of began to understand the importance and the significance of it. And then finally, one day last year, I also was able to receive my Aggie ring, which was really an awesome experience. And so the thesis of this presentation is basically to just talk about how my Aggie ring represents key aspects of my identity. And so just to give you a little preview of where we're going today, I'm going to explain how my Aggie ring represents aspects of my identity that are rooted in my family and rooted in my education and then also rooted in my passions. So firstly, the first main point that I would love to make is that my Aggie ring represents a core aspect of my identity, which is found in my family. And so the first point to talk about that is just how every single member of my family has an Aggie ring, of my immediate family. So both my older brothers and both my parents have an Aggie ring. And this kind of just represents the deep bond and connection within my family that I feel on a day-to-day basis, but also see it in the connection of the Aggie ring. It also represents the support that I've received from my family as they have helped me pursue my education. And I remember whenever I got my Aggie ring, I took a photo and put each of their rings on my hand with my ring. And it was really sweet as it just symbolized the completeness of our family with the Aggie experience. Secondly, there's different generations within my family that each has an Aggie ring, but it all represents the underlying commonality that we're all Aggies. So everyone in my family graduated in different years and we were all involved in different organizations, but all united through the common bond of A&M. And it's also really cool to think about how the places that I walked, my parents once walked, and the places that I eat at, my parents ate at, and same with my brothers, and it just makes me feel really connected to them. So now that I've talked about the connection to my family with my Aggie ring, I want to talk about my education. And so second, my Aggie ring represents a lot of my education at A&M, which is a huge factor of who I am. Firstly, I've studied public health in order to pursue medicine, and the education that I've received at A&M has given me the ability to apply to PA school, which is really exciting. And my ring also just reminds me of all of the classes and all the professors that have helped supported and prepared me for hopefully PA school. Second, during my time at A&M, I've been able to minor in Spanish, and so my ring reminds me of the education that I've had in Spanish. And I studied Spanish so that I could expand the demographic of people that I could care for one day. And I have learned a lot about the resilience in pursuing other languages and the resilience in education, and that will pay off. And it reminds me of the satisfaction that I received working really hard for my Aggie ring, that if I keep working hard for Spanish, it will pay off one day and I will be able to see the benefits of it. So lastly, now that I've talked to you about the connection with my family and the connection with my education, I want to tell you about my passions. And so my Aggie ring also represents a lot of my defining passions and defining characteristics. Firstly, at A&M, I discovered a lot of my passions. I realized that I was really passionate about people, and A&M gave me the opportunity to be in organizations where I could carry that out. I'm really passionate about my faith in Jesus Christ, and A&M has given me a lot of opportunities to tell people about my relationship with him. And lastly, like I said, I'm really passionate about science and medicine, and A&M has supported my education through that. And secondly, my ring represents that all of these passions I can take with me. I've been to Kenya and Guatemala and Nicaragua, and it's cool to see how my ring has been to these places with me. And it's taught me that these passions of my life should be visible and apparent to other people, just like my ring is visible and apparent to other people. So in conclusion, I have explained how my identity is seen in my Aggie ring through my family and my education and my passions. And the overall thesis of my speech is that my ring represents the key aspects of my identity that are seen in the defining characteristics of my family and my education and my passions that are represented by my ring. And in closing, one of the biggest things I've learned is that just like my family and my education and my passions will go with me wherever I go, and they'll stick with me forever, my Aggie ring will always go with me wherever I go and will always stick with me forever. Thank you.